So what you might not know is that I have hundreds of partners all over the world that invest in real estate with me. And the reason why they do this is because I do 100% of the work. It gets to be passive for them. They get to focus on their careers. They get to focus on family, but they also get to know that real estate has the possibility of creating millions of dollars for their retirement, for their future, for their legacy. And let me tell you something that puts a little bit of a damper on my partnering with people around the world is when the headlines get totally out of whack with creating this perception that the sky is falling, that we're heading into a major crash, that this is the financial end of the world when it comes to the game of real estate. And honestly, it's all bullcrap. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the headlines. I'm gonna show you some of the top claims, and then I'm gonna tell you the things that the media should be telling you that they're not. So most people don't understand that Blackstone and other large hedge funds are literally buying up billions of dollars worth of single family homes. They're trying to turn it into a commodity. They want a handful of institutions to own all of the real estate. And what it does is it actually pushes consumers out of the game, even investors. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, people don't get it. The reason why they're deploying billions of dollars against all these headlines is because of the money that people are making in the game of real estate, which I know because I pretty much double my money every other year. Check this out. Some of the headlines. House prices posted the smallest annual gain in 2 years. I'm like, I don't know, did you see that we had a pandemic and that we've seen real estate go through the roof, like up 50%. You didn't think there was going to be some type of correction on that? Or housing market hangover or trajectory for foreclosures will be on the rise next year. I'm like, yes, there's definitely with these crazy interest rates, people not being able to afford their mortgages, there will be a glut of homes that are going to go back to the banks. There will be a rise in foreclosures, but they paint this picture like that's somehow an unhealthy part of an economic process. And lastly, housing market in the throes of a winter freeze. Like, can you feel all of the emotional energy that is just touted in this? And yet, look at the house here. Like, look at these houses all around me. This is how I help people build wealth. You buy real estate, you supply homes for people, and if you buy it according to an appropriate formula, there's cash flow, there's tax benefits, there's all sorts of advantages. And this is why 90% of millionaires make their million in the game of real estate and not as a W-2 wage earner working for somebody else. So let's talk about why all this doom and gloom talk. Well, first of all, fear is the most powerful and instinctual human emotion, and headlines typically prey on this sensitivity in order to get clicks, get attention. And so media is being rewarded for basically driving this really deep doom and gloom. And most people, unfortunately, are stupid enough to actually say it must be true, right? It was in the media, it was on the news, it must be true. The reality, however, is that the housing market is going through a small correction, and it definitely has a bright future ahead. And when you're done watching this video, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, everything is opposite of what the media is telling us. This is actually the time to be buying real estate and acquiring real estate, as long as you agree with me on the following interpretations. So there's two major claims that are creating all this crisis energy. And here's the first one. Between June and October 2022, U.S. home prices, as measured by the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index, fell 2.4%. While news sources boldly tout this as the second largest drop since World War II, the reality is that it comes after a historic 41% boom in prices and is a natural correction to rising interest rates. Are you kidding me? We've seen a 41% increase nationwide, and then it corrected by 2.4%, and everyone thinks that that's some horrible indication of a major crash. I'm like, no, let's be really honest. Prices on average go up 4.7% a year. So when you see over 2 years a 41% boom, that has to correct itself. And that is not a bad thing. That's actually a very healthy, good thing. Here's a second claim. Mortgage applications to purchase a home are down 42%. Oh my gosh. 42% less people trying to qualify for a mortgage? That must be an indication of a really big problem, right? Well, while this sounds monumental, this is only down 13.6% from the 2019 pre-pandemic levels, and it is a direct response to rapidly rising interest rates, not a decrease in demand for housing. In other words, people are saying, wow, So if I'm paying 7% instead of the 3% that I've grown accustomed to for the last, I don't know, decade, then that means that my mortgage payment is going to be like $600 more a month or $1,000 more a month. And I got news for you. We can't afford that. So you know what? Maybe now isn't the right time for us to buy a house. So here's the stat that they don't mention. This is what comes from Redfin. News articles typically focus on decreasing prices and volume of homes sold, but they ignore the supply side. As of December 2022, new listings are down 21.6%, which means that less people are putting their homes up for sale, likely not wanting to exchange their low 3% pandemic rate for a closer to 7% new rate. This is one factor among many which should keep home prices propped up until interest rates drop. Doesn't this make sense? I mean, if you own this house or that house, who wants to trade 3% after they sell it and maybe make good money on it to say, cool, now we took all that equity, we dumped it into another home, but the 7% interest rate just cost us a whole lot more money? That doesn't make sense. That's part of this slowing down. And right now the Fed is doing everything it can to hedge against inflation, but once they feel that they have that under control, rates are going to come back down. And since we're missing 3.8 million homes, guess what that means? It means that prices are going to keep driving up higher and higher and higher. In fact, in September 2022, Pew Research determined that the housing market is still short 3.8 million homes. As supply decreases, this only increases the value of existing homes, driving prices up further. So what does all this mean? Well, first of all, it's good news for anyone that's buying real estate with me, and it's also good news for people that are buying the right kind of real estate on their own. We're missing 3.8 million homes. Those prices have to go up. Have they paused for a moment because of the interest rates? Yeah, but guess what? The market's going to breathe. There's going to be a well-needed gentle correction. All that does is supply better deals in the marketplace. It produces better discounts. It's actually better for investors. We finally have an opportunity in this economy with a correction to catch our breath, and all of a sudden this reset means that I'm getting tens of thousands of dollars deeper discount on properties than what I was getting before. And since I use all these rules to buy in a tiny box real estate under the median, entry level, single family homes, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 4-bedroom, 2.5 baths, we are crushing it. Our ROIs are up. I'm just trying to get you and everyone else to do what these large hedge funds are doing, which is they see it, they get the math, they get the ROIs. You should be getting in the game right now hardcore. Listen, if you want to get in on real estate while it really is hot, while the ROIs are as good as I've seen them in 20 years, I want you to click the link below and learn about partnering with me. Generally, you have to have some money saved up in retirement, a 401k, an IRA, even equity in your own home or savings. If you have anything like that and you're earning in the market single-digit ROIs, do the math. Based on where you're at and when you want to retire, it's not going to be enough money. You got to find out how to go from single-digit to double-digit ROI. And when you do it, for me on average, that means that when you compare a 401k to what I do in real estate, even at a very basic level, we're getting on average 27 times more money over 20 years than traditional retirement. Think about that. All we're doing is going for a minimum 25% ROI, usually averaging quite a bit higher than that. If you want to learn about that, click the link below and talk to my team, because what we'll do is I'll share with you how I make it fully passive, fully turnkey. What it means is you can play real estate at the highest level. You can skip the learning curve and work with a partner that's been doing this for 20 years to the tune of over 2 billion in transactions. Play at that expert level and get those expert level results. Listen, maybe you're watching today's video and you don't know that my journey started with nothing. You may not know that I literally in 4.5 years as a college kid went from nothing to a net worth of $1.6 million, a portfolio of 25 homes producing a 6-figure residual income. It meant that when I graduated, I didn't have to get a job. I literally walked from that life, and then I figured out how to do more real estate, 100 homes, 1,000 homes, thousands of homes. And so a lot of people want to know, Kris, how did that journey really start for you? Well, I house hacked my way to my first $1 million. And if you want to know how I did that, there's a video right here that you can click, and I will show you exactly how I did it.